really are Renaissance-type guys, right?
We are.
So from sports, now let's shift over to arts.
Yes.
Let's talk about, Andy Warhol and some contemporary-type art.
Oh, yeah, because I think the famous quote I have here is, Andy Warhol depicted the world with the volume turned up.
And that's our motto.
Yes. And so I got to meet up with Jordan D. Schnitzer to talk about his collection and how contemporary artists speak about current events through their art.
The artists in this exhibition speak to the issues that we confront in society in our lives today.
That's Jordan Schnitzer, and these works are all his. And he knows these artists like the back of his hand. And Andy Warhol is where it all began.
He is the classic pop artist. What's that mean? Post-World War II, what artists were dealing with was what was society like. Servicemen and women were coming back from the war, suburbs were expanding, TVs were going into everybody's house, Madison Avenue was starting with advertising. The pop artists were responding to those themes of that time. How does the individual maintain their sense of identity in a time and age when merchandising and marketing are trying to tell us what to wear, what to think, and what to do?
Ah, people seeking identity and individuality. I can relate. Jordan breaks down one of Warhol's most iconic print series featuring Marilyn Monroe.
If you look at her and you look what Andy Warhol's done, he picked a individual that sort of represented that whole Tinseltown, that whole film industry, the last of one of the great movie stars of her time. When you see what Andy Warhol does with these colors, he's a master colorist. As we look at these images, think about how our reaction to them changes. It's like we can be reaching in and feeling her emotions. Here, this luscious image with her lips, the red eye makeup, the blonde hair, the pink colors, very powerful. Then this starts to get much darker.
Chuck Close is well known for his portraits, which is interesting considering he suffers from aphasia, a disease where he can't recognize faces. Jordan explains how he deals with it and how it is translated to his work.
In his own mind, as he created grids to help him recognize people's faces. Suddenly you look at his artwork and you see he took his experiences and became the greatest portrait artist of call it the latter part of the 20th and 21st century. When we get farther away, it looks like a photograph. And yet as we walk little bit by little bit, we begin to see, wow, we sort of see squares and squares, images after images after images, to when we get up real close, we see hundreds of little tiny paintings.
And seeing how artist Ross Bleckner dealt with pain and tragedy in his life will definitely twist your mentality.
Now, when I first saw these, I looked at these and I thought, these look like flowers. Beautiful colors. When the AIDS epidemic hit, a lot of his friends who were actors and artists got hit and got sick and died. His father also passed away from cancer. Now, as an artist, how would he respond to the pain and working through those human issues? So when you look at these carefully and you understand what they are, these are really what, if you looked at a Petri dish of cancer cells or AIDS cells through a very powerful microscope.
If you're intimidated by art and museums because of lack of knowledge, Jordan has some advice for you.
Art is for everyone. Don't worry about, oh boy, I'm not a collector, I don't go to museums, whatever. Just let yourself go. You know, when you go to the beach and you look out at the sand and the sea, you don't sit there thinking, boy, do I have to understand this? You just react to it. Take that approach to the art.
I'm Rance Adams reporting for River City Live.
That looks like an extensive collection that they have there.
And that was just a teaser. I didn't want to show everybody everything, so you got to go experience it yourself. And some of the knowledge he dropped, those were just some small nuggets. So I'm going to talk to our EP, and maybe he'll let us post the full interview online. But Jonathan's very insightful and definitely passionate about spreading his art and his collection with the world. His foundation has lent works to over 54 museums internationally. It includes Jasper Johns, Warhol, Kara Walker, and much more. And to find out more about the exhibits at Moca, check out mocajacksonville.unf.edu.
All right, well, thank you. We'll have more after this.